Baseball is something that, it's a big family here.
Wings need a win here to get a victory in the final game of the series.
Baseball is a timeless game.
All right, Darnell! Come on, Darnell!
Where rivalries run deep.
Had a good start to the season at the plate. Fastball well located on the outside corner.
The Pawtucket Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings
Your boy's doing good.
have one of those rivalries.
Somebody just got thrown out of the game for the Red Sox.
Sometimes heated.
All right, here we go.
There is one game in particular in this rivalry which stands out.
I remember that game very well.
One for the record books. One which made headlines across the country in the spring of 1981.
They played the longest game in history, 33 innings, and they lost.
The game began on April 18th. Ron and Nancy Smith listened to the radio broadcast right from the start.
Yeah.
The whole game she listened to. The whole game.
Ron remembers falling asleep around midnight, but then
I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning. I smelled hot dogs. My wife was sitting in bed eating hot dogs and listening to the game. 4 o'clock in the morning, Easter morning.
Everything kept going on and on and on and on.
Once the commissioner of the International League found out the game was still going on at 3:30 in the morning, he called the ballpark and told them to shut it down in the 32nd inning.
And it just dawned on me, it must have been a wacky night because I suddenly imagined myself being in the outfield and playing baseball and no one watching.
on a recent night at Frontier Field, on a night the Wings and Sox were supposed to play but got snowed out, the stands were empty. Not much different than that Rhode Island Easter morning of 1981. When just 19 fans stuck around until the bottom of the 32nd.
If you're making money playing baseball, you got to be damned good.
The story of the game inspired New York Times columnist Dan Barry to write a book.
I thought about it on a human level. I thought about it on an aspirational level. Like, who were these poor bastards?
He shared the story with college students with whom he'd hoped to catch a game.
You know, this is everything. This is America. It's about aspiration. It's the minor leagues. These guys are all trying to get to the next level, and most of them won't make it.
The 1981 game featured two future Hall of Famers, but names like Boggs and Ripken were hardly of interest.
So there's this whole after story for all these guys. What happens after this? And many of these guys who never made it to the major leagues are really, really proud to have played in this game.
Today's Red Wings find such a long game hard to fathom.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't imagine playing a game that long.
The game itself probably changes a little bit throughout the course. Just the mental part of it, to stay locked in for that long, is very difficult.
As those innings go by and those at-bats keep stacking up, you got to just keep grinding it out, and, you know, someone's going to win eventually.
Baseball's longest game didn't actually end until more than 2 months later, when the two teams met in June. Dave Koza was the hero, singling in the winning run for Pawtucket in the bottom of the 33rd.
You know, a baseball game theoretically could last forever. And that sounds wonderful for writers and everything. But in a practical sense, how would you like to be in a game that doesn't seem to end?
The scorecard from that game is a mess. One reliever pitched 8 innings, another 10.
I thought it was a joke. You see guys with 12, 13 at-bats, relievers throwing that many innings.
Dallas Williams had 13 at-bats and never got a hit. I'm not kidding.
Even though it wasn't played in Rochester, the game does hold a special place for Red Wings fans.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, in fact, when we went to the Hall of Fame, we saw the actual score sheet. And do you know how it is to see that?
Those were really special years for many of us that used to come and see those players come through Rochester and work their way up.
The second baseman, number 2, Brock Holt.
The game of baseball is unique in that it doesn't follow a clock. Especially a game which, in the spring of '81, redefined the meaning of it ain't over till it's over.
It's just one game. Unfortunately, that was about 3 or 4 stacked on top of each other for just one loss.
Seth Voorhees, Time Warner Cable News.